What's going on, Morrissey Sports Talk? We in the building. Talk some Pistons real quick. What could have been? All right. I mean, you could talk about the misses in the draft or whatever you want to talk about, but honestly, scouting department, general management, since pretty much Bill Davidson passed away, has been piss poor. I mean, Joe Dumars, Jordan Bowers, Stan Van Gundy, and pretty much Ed Stefanowski really ain't had much to deal with. He ain't had no high picks or a lot of cap space, so we can't really put this on his hands yet. But the Pistons had, let's start off what they had. They had a starting backcourt. Two rangy, 1 and 2 guards, and Chris Middleton and Spencer Dinwiddie and Chris Middleton. They identified Spencer Dinwiddie, I think he's from like Colorado, I believe, had a knee injury coming out of college. They identify him as a premier talent that just had an injury. They also got Chris Middleton. They got him later in the draft or something like that. And Chris Middleton became an all-star this year. Good defensive guy, good guy that can stretch the floor. And everything the Pistons are looking for in a backcourt that fits today's NBA, they had it or they could have had it. Okay, and I'm explaining. We just talking about the backcourt. We ain't going to talk about Darko. We ain't going to talk about KCP over, I think, McCollum, maybe. I think McCollum went after him. Or we're not going to talk about KCP over Giannis or Rudy Gobert or stuff of that nature. We're going to stick strictly to the backcourt. And either the Pistons had their backcourt on their roster already or their future, or they let the backcourt go, okay? Or they didn't choose them, or they passed on them. But Spencer Dinwiddie and Chris Middleton would have been a nice backcourt. It seemed like the Pistons just don't excel at developing talent. They didn't develop Darko. They let his confidence get hurt playing behind Rasheed and Ben Wallace. They didn't pamper him or nurture him the right way. Damn near messed up Tayshaun Prince until they pulled him out of the deep freezer and he stopped McGrady and they came back from 3-1 in that series. Didn't really develop Aaron Aflalo. He went on to like Sacramento or something. He had a very formidable career to that point. So, yeah, there's other players that I'm probably forgetting that they failed to develop. Obviously, they didn't develop Reggie Jackson. Obviously, they didn't develop Stanley Johnson. They did develop Reggie Bullock to a certain extent, but I think it was no other choice but for him to play. But they had, they starting backcourt right here in Chris Middleton and Spencer Dinwiddie. They had both of them guys on the roster at some point, and both are in the Eastern Conference producing. Chris Middleton, like I said before, averaged around just under 19 points a game, shooting about 44% from the floor. Good defender, good rebound. Can make an assist or two there. He can defend and shoot threes, exactly what you want from the 2-guard position. The Pistons had him, failed to develop him. From however he got to Milwaukee, I can't remember. Same thing with Spencer Dinwiddie. They had him. He healed his knee here or whatever injury he had, and he went over in Brooklyn and he put it together. And he's become a really, really formidable point guard in the backcourt with Karis LeVert and D'Angelo Russell. I think he just got a good contract, and he's worlds better than any point guard we had with the Pistons since Chauncey Billups left. He's better than Calderon. He's better than Reggie Jackson. He's better than Brandon Jennings. He's better than Ish Smith. 6'7", rangy guy, can defend his position, can score. Had a couple, I think, 30-point game, 40-point game this season. He can shoot the rock. He can play make. Chris Middleton can shoot the rock. And somehow, some way, when the Pistons do identify talent, and usually when they do, it's late in the draft, second round or some shit like that, excuse my language, for somehow they don't develop. And the Pistons haven't developed in forever. I mean, I can really go back deep, and they didn't develop a lot of talent. Now, people that did develop under the Pistons, like Grant Hill, he was just a premier talent. You weren't going to hold back Grant Hill unless you didn't allow him to play, and that would have been idiotic. Okay, you can go back to them drafting Rodney White and Ricky Spalding or Paul and whatever he was from Missouri, to go back to them drafting Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, to go back to drafting Stanley Johnson, to go back with Greg Monroe. I mean, they really didn't develop those guys. Andre Drummond really hadn't developed the way he should have developed. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you can keep going on and on back to these drafts, and they have really failed to develop talent. Darko Milicic, some of the talent that does develop with the Pistons. Whenever they do and in practice, they develop in practice or heal their injuries, and they go somewhere else and they ready to play. And that's just, it's been from Rick Carlisle to Larry Brown to to Maurice Cheeks to, Custer, whatever reason it is, no matter how bad the Pistons how bad the Pistons have been, they have neglected to let young players go ahead and play. It seemed like, oh, you got to earn your spot. When you're a sorry-ass organization, you should let the young guys play. You're not going nowhere playing veterans. I don't care how much the veterans make. Let the young guys play. And the one thing Dwayne Casey's doing he is destroying the mold. He's letting Bruce Brown play at least. He need to go ahead and let Kyrie Thomas play because this team is going nowhere real fast. All right, we talked about the backcourt they had, but the backcourt they could have. They could have had, and they could have had Devin Booker and Devon Mitchell. And I believe that they still could have had Devin Booker and got Devon Mitchell because guess what? Devin Booker, he's a good player, but he can't lift up Phoenix, so the Pistons would have still been bad with him. But you would have had a hometown guy or home area guy from Grand Rapids, he is, scoring buckets, scoring 70 points. He would have put more asses in the seat than Blake Griffin, okay? Then you would have added Devon Mitchell with Devin Booker in your backcourt. That would have been deadly. You got two guys that can play one, that can play the two a little bit, and maybe the Pistons say, oh, we already got a two guard. Now we view Devon Mitchell as a two guard. Maybe they would have passed up on him. But I think it's idiotic. Pistons need to stop drafting for need and draft for just talent. Just even if you stockpile talent at the same position, similar to what Philadelphia did with Okafor and Joel Embiid and whatever. Hey, and then they did redundant with Ben and Markelle Fultz. Don't matter. Get the best talent available and don't go for need. All right? You say, oh, he's talented. We're going to find a way to fit him in our system. And could you imagine having a Devon Mitchell and Devin Booker backcourt? Could you imagine not having Stanley Johnson and not having Luke Kennard? You can't tell me that you put Luke Kennard and Devon Mitchell in the same gym and Luke Kennard was better. I just can't. That person needed to be fired then and there as soon as Devon Mitchell became what he was, okay? And that's the backcourt that you need. You put Devon Mitchell and Devin Booker with Blake Griffin, you still got something. And on top of that, you still could have acquired Blake Griffin because you still would have had Tobias Harris. You still could have put those trades off. You still would have had Avery Bradley. You probably still would have had Boban. Could have moved him from Blake Griffin. Could you imagine Devon Mitchell, Devin Booker, Andre Drummond, and Blake Griffin? Or just Tobias Harris. They said they didn't make that trade. Or, if Devon Mitchell and Booker was there, maybe they would have kept Marcus Morris. You know what I'm saying? That's a transcendent backcourt. Anybody was going to want to go play with them. Andre Drummond would have been 10 times better. But the point of this video is to show you how retarded this organization is since Bill Davidson passed away. And bless his soul, you don't know what you got to, how good you got it to is gone. Because there's no way that the Pistons haven't over the years transformed their train of thought. And Dwayne Casey is trying to do that with starting Bruce Brown. But at some point, they need to really consider just playing all the young guys around with Andre Drummond, Blake Griffin. Even if you got to rotate stuff in, there's no reason why Luke Kennard shouldn't be out there playing 40 minutes a game. There's no reason that Kyrie Thomas shouldn't be playing 28 minutes a game. There's no reason, whatever young guys else they got out there. Stanley Johnson, I don't care how bad he is. He's going to be out there 40-something minutes a game, and we're going to see what he got. Okay? Because at this point, this team ain't winning the championship. It may not even make the playoffs. So why not see what you got, exhaust? So, if Stanley Johnson, Luke Kennard go on to another team and they become good, well, something we wasn't doing right in our organization, and we can live with it. But guess what? When you let Chris Middleton and Spencer Dinwiddie down the bench and you only give them 5-10 minutes here, maybe 20 minutes here and there, and you never really gave them an opportunity at a full-time position with the team, and this is what you get. This is what happens. They go other places. Teams say, oh, man, let's give Middleton 40 minutes, 30-plus minutes a game, see what he do. He produces. Same thing for Dinwiddie. Oh, his knee healed. Let's give him 30, 40-plus minutes a game. Oh, shit, he can play. The Pistons messed up. That's what happened. So from this point on, if anybody from the Pistons organization listening, any of them dudes that you think about getting rid of, you know Reggie Jackson ain't shit. All right, excuse my language. Any of them dudes you thinking about getting rid of, play the hell out of them right now. Stanley Johnson, when Ish Smith get back, Kyrie Thomas, Bruce Brown, I know they different from them. They'll be here. Let them just continue to play it out. If these dudes ain't getting it done, play all the young guys. Reggie Bullock, play them to the cows come home. Play them till their legs fall off, and see what you got, so you won't end up with a Middleton and Dinwiddie situation again. Motor City Sports Talk. We'll be going live for some Lions Talks later on. Follow us on social media. All the links in the description. Appreciate everybody showing love. It's your boy CJ Goodfella. Y'all know what the business is.